Yo, man, it's almost 4:30. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
This is the social norm.
1, 2.
Yep. Yo. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Canteen. This my man Bean.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Hey, Social Norm, we're gonna go ahead and talk to y'all, man. Hey, today's episode 159, is called Following Your Own Oppressors. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to Bean because he thought of the idea. Go ahead.
Okay, this started years ago with you know how much I don't like that dude Derek Jackson. Most people don't nowadays.
Yeah.
But
He's still out there.
He's still out there. And the more I watch TikTok, the more I watch YouTube, it's like the more they take one down, it's like two more pop up.
It's like weeds.
And they're worse
than the last one.
Than the last one. And I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they were telling me how this person was giving. I'm not trying to put their business out there. They're giving this advice. They're getting advice from
No, put the business out there. Go ahead and tell us.
A gay man telling women, a gay black man telling black women not to date black men. And I'm looking at this person like, you don't see the contradiction in this?
The fact that the black women are following a gay man and that the gay man is telling them don't deal with black men. Like what's the whole point of listening to him? What is he trying to teach them? That they shouldn't be with a black man?
Yeah, I mean, because I guess we have so many problems.
Mhm.
We don't have wealth like that. Now every race has their issues.
True.
Okay, that's just
no one's
what
perfect.
it is. Nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? So my thing was, okay, well, not every black man's broke. I mean,
No.
That's not true either. I mean, I think what's happening is he's just projecting his own experiences.
So he's doing a Derek Jackson.
Onto you ladies, and he's keeping you in this box.
What I think is, I think a lot of us are what's it called?
Susceptible
to a lot of, because we're trying to search for guidance. A lot of people in the black community are trying to search for guidance because we don't have any leaders. All our leaders have either been taken out, or the ones who was trying to tell us something, we ain't trying to hear it, right? Because we're so brainwashed and so set in a certain form of thinking that we're not willing to open our brains to figure out, you know what, that isn't the things that we're doing. Can't you see they're not working? Like in the black community, you have so many people who are saying the most dumbest things, and they're really just saying, I hate you, you hate me, but they're not coming with no solutions.
Exactly. It's all I ever hear is don't do this, don't do that, don't give him this, don't give him that. And I said this to somebody the other day too. I was like, everybody's saying don't do something for the next person, but no one's saying you what to do
for that
person to make the relationship stronger. It's always something that, well, don't give them this, don't take them that. It's and I'm starting to realize this about like just about every other influencer I see out there, and I'm like, man, it's all starting to sound exactly the same.
What I'm realizing is this: a lot of us are so stuck in our ways that we don't really understand the natural order of a man and a woman. Okay, the natural order of a man and a woman should come off naturally, right? That's why we are in this whole state of confusion, because we got a lot of women doing what men should be doing, but they're not doing it correctly because that's not their natural order. That's not the natural order for them to be doing. They're trying to do it, and vice versa. You got men who are not taking the reins, and they're kind of being in behind the back, the backup dancer,
Yeah.
and they're being demasculated to where they're not actually being the man they're supposed to be. So they're both sides are doing the opposite of what they should be
Yes,
doing.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, we got to look at ourselves inwards and ask, who are the people we following? Because a lot of times the people you're following, what are their motives? You got to ask yourself, what are the people I'm listening to motives? Are they just trying to get clicks? Are they actually trying to give you true knowledge, true game to win in life?
Exactly. And that, I mean,
go ahead.
But another thing is too, I've learned this, through, relationships in my marriage too.
Mhm.
You got to see how the people who are trying to guide you, see how they living too.
That's true.
Because they can be telling you all this stuff, and they could be,
and they on their fifth divorce.
Oh, exactly. Like, why would you listen to that person? And unfortunately, I had to learn that after I got divorced, and I looked at the people of their lives,
Mhm.
and I had to remember this dude always used to give me advice about marriage and stuff, and I had to think back. And somebody told you ever see him out with his wife? Do you ever see him?
Well, you know what's so crazy though? We would rather listen to somebody who sounds entertaining, who, hoopla and trip and say crazy things, but their life is in shambles, right?
Exactly.
Or they're alone, or they don't have anybody. But we won't go and listen to grandma and grandpa who've been married for 55 years.
Exactly.
And they're giving you the true game to do what they've done.
To stay together.
Like we know better than they do.
And we don't. Grandma, that's old stuff. It's a new day.
Guess what?
It still apply.
The same thing gets repeated. A cycle gets happening every couple years, every 10, 20, 30 years, the same thing happens. And the same way you can get a woman is the same way you can get a woman 100 years ago. The same way you could get a man interested in you is the same way it worked 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, and I said, we've had talks like that. I said, why is it that we know the answers, but they still just don't want to do them? Just don't want to.
I think you never heard of, like, you got book smarts, but you ain't got street smarts.
Yeah, you ain't got no sense.
Sometimes people get, the smarter they get, the dumber they get.
Yeah.
The obvious thing they won't be able to wrap around their head, but the complex thing, they're like, oh, I know how to do that. But okay, yeah, but you don't know how to boil water. Like that's literally what it is.
I've been with somebody who can cook a complicated meal, like a 6-course complicated meal. But when I said, hey, let me get some oatmeal, they ruined it.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, you got to get to a point where you're like, you know what? Let me find people who are actually doing what I want to achieve. Okay. Don't listen to the words. Look at the result.
Exactly.
And like the obvious is this. I don't think, okay, if you're a black woman trying to date a black man, you probably shouldn't be listening to a white woman tell you how to get a black man. A gay man trying to tell you, because these people are they're in competition with you.
That's true.
They're not. So why would somebody in competition see, even if they wanted to give you advice, the subconscious mind of them, the competitiveness of them, the nature of us to want to win and get everything we can get in life, they're not going to give you good advice.
No, they're not going to give you the whole game.
No. A black woman or just whatever race you are, that woman who's married to a man of who you're looking for, that's who you need to ask.
Yeah. Because they got it done.
They can tell you.
And that's why I learned about a lot, especially on TikTok. A lot of these guys being exposed, and women, are these relationship coaches don't have anybody.
No, they don't.
Like, they going home alone at night, and it's just like, they can give you textbook stuff. Like,
what's that one black lady who always be interviewing, people come on her show and she be asking them what kind of man you like, what kind of, but she alone. Forgot her name.
Is it Kendra G? I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
A lot of the relationship people are all alone because you know why? all they hear are these horror stories, and then they don't want to deal with nobody. We got to get back to playing the role of what we was meant to play, finding out and being there for each other, especially in the black community. Like, it's so much divide between the black man and the black woman because we don't know where the divide comes from. But when you read books and learn the history of how this country was built, you understand why you think the way you think and why you act the way you act.
That's true. It's crazy because we went out yesterday and did interviews, and we asked, I don't know how many people we asked. We asked quite a few people the same questions. And did you notice that all these people didn't know each other? They all different times got interviewed. They all had the same answer.
For the most part, yeah.
You said what could a black man do to
make it better for black women?
Yeah, they said all
respect.
Respect. They all said the same thing. Then they said, what can a woman do, a black woman do to help a black man out? Said support him. I noticed that. I said everybody had the same answers,
but are they doing it? That's the question.
No.
See, we all can say we know what we're supposed to do, but what's stopping us from doing it?
Exactly.
Is it the fear of the unknown because we ain't used to doing it? Is it the conditioning that we're doing because of the programming that when we're watching television and on the internet scrolling and doing whatever? You guys got to unplug from the matrix and ask yourself what type of life you truly want. Yeah. Do you want to really live alone, or do you actually want a partner that respects you, that caters to you, that actually helps build with you?
Exactly. I was reading The Laws of Human Nature,
and
it basically says when someone gives you advice, they basically tell you to take it with a grain of salt.
Okay.
Take the advice and analyze it yourself and see if you can apply it to your life. And if you can, okay. But if you can't, negate it. Don't take everything that everyone says just because you see them living better than you.
That's a big thing. See, people listen, they'll say, oh, well, they got a lot of followers, so that must mean they telling some real knowledge. No, that means they're entertaining.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that, or maybe you got to realize something, guys. A lot of times people can just pay for publicity.
That's true.
If you have money, you can get a publicist, you can pay for clicks, you can pay for things, and to where it looks and perceives as you have a huge following, but the reality is you're not saying anything of value.
That's true. Leading a lot of people astray.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get in some of these videos, man. Oh, yeah. Hold on. All right, here we go. It says,
just because he ain't got no money, you left him?
Had to.
That ain't right. I don't like that.
If he's making more money than me, if I'm making more money than him,
You should help him get some more money.
How am I gonna do that though? If I have my own career, I'm doing what I'm doing.
A woman's supposed to be a helpmate.
I feel like a man is supposed to be that for a girl.
A man's supposed to be a leader.
See, right there, the confusion of this woman. A man is not supposed to be a helpmate. A man is supposed to be the leader of the family. The woman helps him helping him in his process of leading her. I don't know why people want to fight this theory, but this is our natural nature. Men are the leaders, women are the followers. There's nothing wrong with being a follower if that's your natural being. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to help your partner. Let's get to it.
You right.
See, as soon as he told her the men are the leaders and the woman's supposed to be the helpmate and help him, she knew in her heart that sounded and felt right. She said, "You right." I'm gonna go ahead and rewind that for y'all so you can see what she.
Man is supposed to be that for a girl.
A man's supposed to be a leader.
You right.
See?
Supposed to help him be a better leader.
So I was in the wrong. Now I'm the bad guy. I'm always the bad guy.
Are you looking for a daddy?
I ain't looking for a daddy. I got my own money. I got my own money.
The money ain't the daddy. The daddy is the leader. Money don't make you the leader, dude. Okay, just because you got money don't mean you're gonna be the leader. You could still take us right into a fucking ditch. and off a cliff just because you got the money.
Exactly.
I could do what I do, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't need a guy for money.
You want one.
I want a man to be stable. If I was to leave him, I want him to
So
be.
he wasn't stable.
He was okay, but I was making more than him.
So he was stable though.
She laughing because she know that she sound when she's saying it out loud.
It
sound horrible.
Yeah.
It sound like the one thing that men are looking for from a woman is loyalty. Are you gonna be there with me to work through this so I could be the leader for you? But she wasn't willing to do that because she thought she was. See, this is how social media and the government confuse y'all women. They put money in y'all pocket because of OnlyFans, because you got a whole bunch of men who are weak, who willing to give you money for feet pics and all this other stuff that don't take no real skill. And then because you got money, you can buy things, you think you don't need a man. That's where you're confused. And that's where your downfall comes because you're not aware of that.
Yeah, I guess.
So why are you leaving me? You said you just want.
Because he wasn't doing better than me. I need a guy doing better than me. If he's not doing better than me, then.
But like it would have been more real if you'd have helped him get to where you want him to be.
Y'all want these guys. I feel.
She just realized she not real. And she's brainwashed into believing that if she make more money than him, he's worthless to her.
Like, guys want that love story, like.
Guys want that love story. I think everybody wants that love story.
Yeah.
That's what our natural state is. Men and women being connected. If you don't want that, you might be the problem. You ever think of that? You think maybe you might be confused.
And that's the issue right there. Like everybody wants the finished product. No one wants to be the helpmate to help with the grind and with the struggle. But then I ask people like that, like, well, why would he pick you if you weren't willing to go through?
See, she was at first, but once, like I said, once the woman gets the taste of power, it confuses her. It makes her feel like she doesn't need him. She's not dependent on him. But you always will be in your natural state wanting to be dependent on a man in some regard because you want naturally to follow him. You want him to provide for you. That is their natural state. All right, let's get to another confused woman. And there's some men up in here who's confused too now.
I guess I was engaged for like 3.5 years before I got out here.
Now, this woman was engaged for 3.5 years.
Why didn't you stay with that guy? You were engaged, and what happened to that? That's the one.
He was really good and all, but also I wanted to move out to Miami and Florida. And
To be a whore?
Well, it's not like
No, Zarka. Allegedly. She gave up a 3-year marriage to go to Miami.
Yeah,
what the fuck is so good about a palm tree? A 3-year marriage for Miami.
Now, we'll finish this off.
I just been through a lot, and I don't know what else to do.
Now she's crying because reality's setting in because this dude on the mic gave her the real. Said you gave up a 3-year engagement, about to be or marriage. What I don't know if they was married or not, but 3 years. A man who was dedicated with you for 3 years, so you can move to Miami. How dumb does that sound?
Guaranteed. Like that's one example of listen to the wrong person.
She let somebody tell her, girl, you need to go ahead and go. He holding you up from living your best life, from being free, from doing what you want to do. And because he's a real man, he not about to follow a woman. See, a lot of men try to go ahead. Let's finish this video with me. I'll tell you.
I'm glad you cried. I'm the only dude on earth who told you the truth. The truth hurts.
Now, this woman right here I see this a lot with men where they want to please a woman, but they go and follow her into a goddamn over a cliff. Real men are not built to follow women into big decisions about where they're going to go, live, all these other. If you do those things, I've never seen them work. I've always seen the relationship break up.
I can testify to that 100%.
It's not meant for
I
us to follow.
did it. Not to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I did it, you know, to make her happy, which was
Big
a
mistake.
big mistake. And 2, to just like quit arguing.
Which is another big
Another
mistake.
big mistake. I'm making a lot of them. And after a while, I had to stop doing what she was asking. And I had to tell her, I'm like, listen, this stuff you want to do, it doesn't work.
Because I read this book. I'm reading this book called the Breaking the Curse of Willie Lynch. All right, the psychology of the Black American slave, and it talks about how to get your mind out of this mindset. It says, "He who is the natural leader," meaning the man. The man is the natural leader. He who is the natural leader who follows the follower is destined for destruction. Both. The man following the follower is the female. If he follows her to what she wants to do, they both are going to meet their demise. And if you look at our society is meeting its demise because men have followed what women are saying, and none of them make a damn sense because that's not their role. Their role is not to lead.
I'm realizing even through my marriage that they can't.
They can't because they can't deal with the pressure.
They can't deal with the pressure, and they're not really decisive when it comes to their decisions.
And they don't want to take accountability. Think about this. Majority of Black families have been dysfunctional, disbanded to where the woman is the leader of the family, meaning the father is nowhere to be found, right? So there's been a lot of single mothers. And now when you see the high rate of crime, the high rate of dysfunction, and people, and then Black men come to and say, look, we weren't here. You guys ran the show. And look what the results are. Women want to say, so you're saying I did a horrible job? You weren't here, so it's your fault. Yes, it's both sides' fault. Yes. But what I'm saying is you had the steering wheel. So you got to acknowledge that you are not meant to hold the steering wheel. It doesn't work like that for you. You alone cannot do it. It's a 2-man job, and you need to be the one in the back seat. Let the man carry. He should be. He's built for it.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be naturally built for
100%.
it. But a lot of them are being built weak. All right, let's get to the next video, man. I'm gonna watch the little Louis Farrakhan. Let's see.
It's a woman that helps the man to be a man. A man that don't have a woman don't know if he's one. What do I mean by that? A woman will test you to see if you are what you say you are. Any woman that you fall in love with, she love you too, but she gonna try you. That's her nature. She gotta know that she can depend on you. She gotta know that you'll stand up for her. She got to know that you'll back up the children that she brings in the world for us. No man is a man without a woman. It's a woman that helps the man to be a man.
Now, this some real shit he just said, because you know why? Just like the women in our society are confused on who needs to be the leader, men are confused about how weak-minded mentally we are. To where when anytime a woman puts stress or puts a test in front of us, our threshold is so small compared to what it used to be that when a woman does something, we can't handle it and we leave. We don't stand there and say, look, no, we're not doing that. Hold on strong and say, look, no, we're not doing that. Or he stand on what he say and how and by his actions. But a lot of men get caught into an emotional battle with a woman. That's not our domain. A woman is always going to be the one who runs the emotional side of things. So if you want to argue with a woman, like you just said, you said me and her kept arguing, right? See, that was the big mistake. Men don't argue with women. It's a losing battle. You tell her what's gonna be, and that's it. The actions are gonna show what you mean business. You don't gotta tell her, oh no, why we gotta do this? Hey, I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. Or yeah, we can do that, or we're gonna go do this. And then she can yep, because that's what this is her venting. This is her way of getting her testing on you. But a lot of men were brought up by women and not even just brought up by the few men who were brought up with men, they seen their fathers have to deal with shit like that, shit tested. But in society, we're so engulfed with being taught by women that we're not the same men that once was. That would have been like, nah, I ain't hearing that.
No. And I had to, after I got divorced, I had to really go think about everything I went through, and I had to really go back to that mentality. Like, I'm not arguing with you.
No,
you can get gone.
You can leave. If you don't want to do it, leave. And a lot of women are, but they're learning. The men, like that man who didn't go to Florida with her and she left. Guess what? She realizing right then when that dude brought it to light that she left a real man. Because I guarantee if that man would have went down to Florida, it would have been the relationship would have been horrible. Because he'd have been, this ain't what you want. Like, even my parents, sometimes my mom disagrees with my father on things, and she threatens all kind of crazy stuff that she's gonna do. I'm gonna go and all this other stuff. But guess what? My dad stands tall and says, I'm not doing that. He tries to do some things he can't for, but the rest he's like, I'm not doing it. And eventually they keep moving forward. She stays with him.
Yeah. And I don't know why, like you said, I don't know why we don't listen to, my parents, they've been together, I think, for like 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
So every now and again, I think back on how they do things. And it was just like that. My mother did things. I always say this. My mother did things like, if she disagreed with my father, she never did it in front of us.
Yeah.
They always talked about it later on. And that's how a lot of ways I move is because I was taught by them how they move.
All right, it's real. All right, let's go ahead and get into one more video. Now, I like this lady. She always come with some real logical thinking.
He wants your love. He wants your love, don't get me wrong, but he needs your respect. That's why he stays at work and doesn't come home.
That's a fact. Men want women's love, but we need your respect. For us to go back out there in the real world and do what we do and clock in and zone in and work and bring back that check, we need to know you respect us.
Because at work, he's celebrated. He comes home and he's tolerated. We think he leaves because I cooked for him, I cleaned for him, I served him, I took care of him, and he still left me. Because he is not fueled by your love, he's fueled by your respect. Respect is celebration. We feel like that at work. And then we come home and we see this woman coming out of the corner and she look a little bit like Smeagol. My precious!
What the fuck?
And she crawls up to you with the fistnet round her head and said, why did you take the bins out? Why did you take the kids in the carpool? What are you doing at this time up still this late? And the man goes, I'm going back to work. Can you?
That's a fact. Ladies, the one thing men want from you is for you to be their peace. Mm-hmm. If you ain't bringing peace when he come into the door, he's sitting out in the car, sometimes driving right by, saying, you know what, I'm just gonna get in the car and go. And you've had that moment. We all are like, I don't need this.
But see, and talking about being celebrated at work, even like the work wife. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you getting hell from home, you're gonna lean toward. That's how cheating starts. Yeah. Though I guarantee you, ladies, any man you ever got cheated on by, ask yourself, what was the time when you started to disrespect him? When you started to talk foul to him? When you started talking to him like you're his mother? That's the quickest way to get a man to go ahead and jump into somebody else's arms. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that he probably didn't deserve some emotional damage that you was probably because you was feeling. Because a lot of times when women feel emotionally damaged, they want to give it to the other person.
So that's why they talk to them crazy and disrespect them and do whatever. But then they don't realize that that's only going to push him farther away from you, not closer.
Exactly.
That's where you want to be.
And if you got a real petty, if both of you are petty, it gets
unbearable.
Worse. It really does. I'm not even gonna lie. I've done some petty things.
What name some stuff?
Okay,
some
so
shit
you know when my ex was giving me a hard time, all right,
Mhm.
and I go to work, and let's say a lady will cook me something. Just hey, I heard you like pastelitos. I made you some.
Yeah,
I wouldn't eat that at work. I'd go home
just to make sure,
eat it, just to make sure
she's seen you eat
she
it.
see me.
Oh,
eat
this
it.
Lady at work made it for me.
Yeah,
it's delicious.
It's the best I've ever had. Like just.
Oh God, you just want her to be more insecure and more pissed off, aren't you?
Like you ain't the only game in town. That's
now that's where the maturity of the man and being the leader. You need to say, look, I ain't with the games. Let's go ahead and figure this thing out so we can move past this.
Yeah.
But you wasn't trying to move past. You was trying to get even.
Yeah. That's why I know myself. That's one thing you got to do. You got to know yourself. You got to know.
You need to work on yourself.
I need to work. Sometimes you got to work on yourself because I told somebody like, look, we could never date because
we will
both too
make
petty.
each other hell.
Yeah, I said I would not let you win. Like I'm telling you,
you won't want me win. So that means both of us are gonna take a loss.
You're gonna try to kill me in my sleep. I can just see this in the foreseeable future.
Damn, I already know who you're talking about too. Let's get to another video. All right.
I move. If I heard,
me and the wife.
Can Monkey come play?
Who?
Monkey,
Who is Monkey?
your son.
That's not his name. Why would you call him Monkey?
We just call him that.
I don't think that's a nice name, though. Did he say it was okay to call him Monkey?
I don't know. I just got it for my friends.
you got some racist friends. I move. If I heard, I'll move.
We ready or what? So I didn't see that part. Now, so we got a kid calling their mama or going up to their friend's house to ask, can he come out and play? And they called, and he's like, can Monkey come out and play? And now, kudos to the mom for staying calm in this regard, because I know a lot of mothers
like, what?
Fuck you just call my goddamn. You know, she was like, what'd you call him? Monkey. And he was like, why you call him that? She's like, that's his name. That's what we call him. Now, the kid was so young.
So innocent.
He probably was like, I want to say 5, maybe 7. You know,
yes,
you know, where he don't really know the gravity of that word towards black people.
She looked at him and figured, okay, this ain't him.
This ain't him. This is other kids calling him Monkey.
He's repeating what he heard.
And he just like, yo, we'll call him Monkey. So that's his name. But he calling him to play with him.
Yeah, like
he ain't even thinking like, I ain't supposed to play with you.
Yeah, like, hey, Monkey coming out. Like, my thing is to the kid, I would ask kid, are they calling you are you aware that they call you Monkey?
Clearly they do. He yeah.
Like, did they ever call you Monkey?
Well, that's why she said this. Is he saying y'all can call him Monkey? I don't know. That's just what our friends call him. So I call him that. So what it sounds like is maybe some older kids or whatever, or parents is calling him that.
And he just like, oh.
Now, the reason I brought that up was because, you know, I had my squabbles with some of the audience members
with the words,
with word Monkey, and I told you how I grew up, and mind you, when I grew up, I never heard no white people call me Monkey, not to my face. Now that I seen that and seeing how deep it goes from the psychological level, the demeaning psychological, you know, negativity, I can say, okay, I was wrong.
Wow.
Just because I didn't.
And nobody's here to hear you say.
Nope, no one's here to see this, so that's cool. And I was wrong to do that. But I didn't know until
I was in part of my fault. I couldn't articulate basically where it comes from back then. I was trying to explain it back then, but it just
wasn't getting out.
I couldn't
right.
get it out right.
Yeah,
that's why I was like, you cannot call black people monkeys. Like, trust me on this.
And let me say this, because it hit me, because I was like, if that would have been my nephew, and somebody with a kid would have came up and be like, yeah, you know, is Tavon here? But not Tavon, who said, is Monkey here? I'd have been like, what? And especially a little white kid, it would have made me be like, oh, see, they got me fucked up. They got my little nephew fucked up. They trying to play this little monkey game, and he's so young, he don't know what is going. I'm about to whoop all they older brothers or daddies' asses.
Now imagine, now see how you felt right there. Now imagine you hear that coming from one of your own. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you?
But see, I don't think you should get that mad over your own compared to if they said it, a white person. But I guess because we're on a platform, I'm trying, as like I said, I understand feeding into any negativity of that is wrong.
It only perpetuates it, basically.
Yes.
You know.
So like I said, I just thought that was a funny. It was funny to see, but also more realistic to realize, like, okay, we got a lot more work to do in bridging the gap of the systemic racism we have in this country.
Truth be told, I mean, this is gonna sound crazy, right? I believe, I mean, it's there. Racism is still there, but between the gap between sexes, I feel like that's surpassing
racism,
because that's all you see is men against women now. It's not even about racism.
Yeah. Well, now it's about social. I would say sex. Not even. I wouldn't even say sexism. It's more of the destruction of the male and female role.
Exactly.
That's where we're at right now, and I'm telling y'all, it's not going to work. There's no boundary you can try to force a square into a circle and think it's going to work. Men are men naturally to be what they are. Women are women naturally. We let social media, TV, the news, and government deceive us and trick us into thinking that this is something else can be what we want it to be instead of what it naturally is.
Yeah. I got a friend who his daughter really doesn't come out of her room. And they just tell him, like, man, like, what does she do up there? Oh, she just stays on TikTok all day. I said, I think that's a bad idea. I was like,
that's brainwashing.
I said, I can't, that's a bad idea. I said, I don't have kids and I can't tell you how to raise your kids, but that's not a good idea, bro.
That's, you know what this is? That is literally how you create a zombie. That's how you create people to not be free thinkers. The fact is, you and me both have been on these phones and have lost track of time, just scrolling, watching content after content, and that does something to your brain.
It does.
You gotta unplug from this and go live a life.
Yeah.
Mind you, now look, me and him, like you said, the other day we went to a gospel concert, right? A lot of people out there. We was asking questions, interviewing people, and came across a girl, and I asked her out. Now, the one thing I can say about it is I could tell she was kind of shocked that I asked her out, because I don't think a lot of women nowadays are getting asked out in person, out in the street, in real life.
And I would use that to my advantage.
Oh yeah, fellas, start if you can put the phone down for just a second and go out and live life. Just go. Don't worry about what's going to happen. Just go. I guarantee you, and don't be afraid to interact with people. You will see the amazing things that will happen in your life. People you'll meet, because you'll just be attracted, because you're living in your purpose. You're doing things you want to do.
Exactly.
But a lot of us ain't trying to do that. A lot of us want to live life through this shit, and this is not living.
No, it's really not. But to finish the story, right? So one day she comes out of her room.
Okay.
And she says, I want to be a boy. Devastating. So he tells me, and I'm like, all right. I said, She been on that phone. I say, what was she watching on that phone the whole time?
I would have took that phone from her so quick.
He's like, I don't know. It's like
I would have took it. I would have took it and been like, because you know what? One thing you can do is go on people's phone, and you can see. It kind of gives you a theme of what their mindset is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because what the phone. Oh, that's another thing, and I'm gonna tell y'all right now. If you want to have a conversation with your friend, if you think they not listening to you on here, I literally was talking to you about what? Remember we was talking about the book?
Oh, yeah.
And I was talking about slavery, and I was talking about breed. Why in YouTube video come up about the man breeding? He was forced to breed and as a slave, and he had over 200 children.
Oh, yeah.
But it was from the conversation we had on the phone. These things, they're watching and listening to us, y'all.
Not just your phone, your smart TVs too. Because I was talking to somebody about the what's it called? Great Wolf Lodge. And I go on Hulu. There's nothing but Great Wolf Lodge commercials on now.
Coupons, all that. So if you want somebody to not know what the hell going on, leave these shits at the house. Go into the backyard outside and talk. Okay? Because they're definitely any crime you commit is already been recorded.
Oh, yeah.
If you talking near the phone.
That's what I tell people. If you want to commit a crime, leave your phone at home. Because they go.
Yeah, they're gonna catch your ass. They will catch you. You think they won't?
They definitely will.
They banking on you keeping this damn thing around. So
it's just, but yeah, it's we're definitely being brainwashed. I'm realizing that the more I'm on social media, the more I'm realizing I'm like, this is nuts, dude.
And the more I realize I have to disconnect because I feel like I'm starting to sound or think like, I was like, yo, I got to get out of this. I'm back to reading books.
Yeah.
Y'all need to start reading books.
Yeah.
Things that you actually want to learn about, because this social media stuff is so much content that is giving you so many. We're confused as a nation and as a culture because we're hearing so many opinions that we can't even focus in on anything.
Exactly.
Of our own opinion.
And the thing is that you're right. Once I start reading books too, once I stimulated my mind in that way, I realized
what was bullshit.
What was bullshit. All of a sudden, I was like, man, you can't go back.
You know what's crazy? And you, at one point, you started to believe what they were saying, and then you read the shit. You read some other shit, and you were like, yo, that was straight bullshit.
Exactly.
Why did I listen to that?
Exactly. And I see it all the time, and I hear people talking. I'm like, man, you brainwashed, like your mind is gone.
And it's so hard. Y'all gotta understand something. The more you accept the bullshit, the more you're gonna be so brainwashed to where it's even harder to try to get you to unplug and try to say, be a free thinker for once. Think your own thoughts.
Yes. And that'll help you see a lot of it. I forget what's something. I forget. I wish I would remember what this person. Somebody said something to me that we both know wasn't true. I forgot what it was. I was like, no, that's not.
Yeah,
like that's not true. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know.
But since they saw it online, they saw it on.
This is the biggest thing I hate. It gotta be true. It gotta be true because a lot of people said it is. Fool, don't you understand? That's how they get you.
Yeah.
All they got, if they know the trick is, all I gotta do is get 100 people to say something and you believe it. Then that means that's all I'm gonna do is get 101 people and you sure as hell gonna believe it.
Exactly. That's why when I read stuff online, I say it to you, look, I don't know how true this is. Because even
my thing, they think because of the numbers, it makes sense. Understand something. If you can have one liar, you can get 100 liars.
Exactly.
You can get 1,000 liars.
Bill Cosby case proved that.
Exactly. So. You don't need the numbers don't make sense because they got high or because they got low. The ask yourself, human nature. Does it make sense of what the story they're telling you? If you can just unplug from what they're telling, just listen to the story, not being biased of the person, whoever they're talking about, but just listen to the story and think, would that person do that? Does this sound like something that would make sense? Does a man who's rich, black, famous, and literally the face of a whole race of people, is he willing is he going to go in 1960, right? Or where they were literally still illegal to marry a black man and a white woman? Would he risk drugging white women and raping them? Do you think that was really the case? And if you do, ask yourself, why do you think so lowly of black men? Because I'm sorry, black men don't do things like that. I'm not saying that there aren't some horrible men out there that are black. I'm saying think about the consequences of back then if he would have gotten caught doing something like that. Why? And then if he didn't get caught, why did none of the white women actually bring it to their attention then, when they could have massacred this man?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of people don't. Do you know how Bill Cosby got famous?
It was comedy.
It was this. Actually, Dick Gregory was actually slated to be in Bill Cosby's position.
Okay,
but he marched on Selma. Was it Selma? He marched on Selma with Martin Luther King.
And they didn't want,
so they were like, okay,
somebody who
so entertainment.
He was too radical for. He was too. You know why? He was too woke.
Yeah.
For them to control.
Yeah.
So they said, let's get somebody else who's a little bit more less edgy.
So they handpicked Bill Cosby. That's how he rose to fame, because they pushed Dick Gregory aside.
Yeah. And think about this. You think if Dick Gregory or anybody else who was more woke would have heard rumors that he's raping, you think they would have not tried to, I'm gonna get his ass up out of here?
Yeah. And think about that. He just marched and they got rid of him.
That's what they could do back then.
It is okay. He's done. No more shows for him. He's finished. He just marched. He didn't do anything wrong. You talking about Bill Cosby doing?
He went against the social norm.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like the plug I just put out there. Yeah, man. It's really, we gotta start waking up, y'all. We gotta start waking up and understanding that this world is meant for certain things to be natural, and we are forcing them not to be, and it's not working. It's not. That's it. Watch who you follow, because those same people could really be out here trying to oppress and destroy you.
Mm-hmm. Even with your friends, one thing I've learned, I've seen this in my own life too. People will see how your boyfriend or girlfriend treat you, and they will give you bad advice just to get you out of the way, so they can be in that spot.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen.
There's a lot of, and the thing is, some people might naturally want to help you, but subconsciously they don't, and they'll destroy you. Like the woman who's telling you, girl, you need to leave him. She really believes you need to leave him.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't realize the destruction that's going to cause from you leaving this guy, to where you won't find another man. Because misery loves company. Most people who are miserable and inside subconsciously want the next person to be right there with them.
Yep. And those will be the same ones who told you to leave him, and then they see him do better. But girl, you should have never left that.
Should never left that one. It's no different than people who be like, you ain't never gonna be nothing. You ain't never gonna be nothing. You use that same energy to be something. You like, I always knew you was gonna be something.
Right.
A hypocrite.
Oh man, that used to infuriate me to no end.
I always knew.
I always believed in you. What?
That's not what I remember. But it's okay. You just say, okay, well, I appreciate it, and keep it moving.
Yeah, man. It's just
no.
People are treacherous nowadays.
All right, we're gonna watch one more video and then we're gonna get up out of here, y'all. Because I want to ask y'all this question.
Oh, this is what you asked me earlier?
Yep. All right, let's watch this video.
I failed.
So it says his wife, when he was asked why didn't he leave her, he said, I married her soul, not her body. Now his wife was a victim of serious burns. Now this is what she looked like before. Now this is what she looked like now. I'm gonna say this. I asked Beans earlier, would you stay with your wife if she has severe burns? And what'd you say?
I said no.
Mind you, this is his wife, y'all. Now, I said personally, this is the problem. The same way women nowadays look for, oh, if you're not making more money than me, then you're not worth nothing, or they're looking to be the leader of the role when they really should be the follower. Men need to be the protectors and the providers for their woman through thick and thin. If you want ultimate loyalty, you have to give ultimate loyalty.
Okay, so hold on. She don't look that bad, okay? Considering. Remember the one video we watched where the dude was just, I think it was a dude.
Yeah, he had no nose and shit.
No, could you stay if she looked like that?
My thing is this, like he said, you marry the soul, you don't marry the body. There's going to be things in the body. What if somebody loses their eyes? What if they get blind? What if they get in a horrific car accident and lose their legs? I'm not about to leave somebody that I married, that I said I'm going to be with through thick and thin. This is the problem with our society. A lot of us say vows, but we don't mean them. And that's where the brainwashing has to come. You gotta ask yourself, why do you have horrible morals of how to treat people in our society?
So you would say if she looked like that?
If that was my wife, yeah, I'm staying with her. What the fuck? Like, what was the point of me marrying this woman if I wasn't willing to be with her through thick and thin?
I'm not talking about the first one. I'm talking about the other, the one with the messed up.
Dude,
yeah, I know.
What does thick and thin mean?
I commend you, man.
Well, I'm saying, what's the point of saying thick or thin if you ain't really gonna do thick or thin?
That's true.
So if my wife,
that.
I'm trying to give you something. If your wife go and gain 500 pounds,
I'm not gonna leave her for that.
But she'll leave her if she getting a severe burn. I'm gonna tell you right now, how someone treats you when you down tells you who they really are.
Oh yeah, listen.
So
I've been there. I've been on both ends of it.
So my thing is, how can you sit there and say, I've been there, I know how it feels, but then go right back and say, I'll do the same thing though?
I don't know, man. I'm just damaged. I don't know.
Well, we
got some things to work out.
Yeah.
Listen, I was with my ex-wife when she went through all the whole cancer thing.
Yeah.
Going back from chemo,
okay, but if they would have told her, they would have said, look, she got cancer, we gotta take her titties out, and she gonna be shaving bald.
She lost her hair. I was with it. I was there for all that.
Or if she lost her titties, would you have been okay?
I mean, listen, I was in it. I was okay.
Well, it's like, well, look, we gotta cut your ears off.
I was good with it. I went in thinking like, okay.
All right, they said, look, we gotta cut your ears off and your lips.
Like, this is what this is.
You're gonna have no lips no more. It's just gonna look gay.
Like I said, I've been on both ends of that. I have been on both ends of that. So,
all right.
Like I said, man, I'm just damaged. Maybe I'm just.
So ask yourselves, like I said, before we get out of here, who are you following? Who are you watching? And are they genuinely looking for your best interest, or are they looking to get rich, or just to destroy your make you a zombie? But I'm just trying to open y'all mind and make y'all think differently in a more positive way.
That's right. Use your own mind. Be a free
thinker. If you don't like what I'm saying, tell me why you don't like what I'm saying. Leave a comment. If you do like what we're saying, go hit that like button, man. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that share button. We appreciate everybody who rock with us, man. All right. Hey, man, I ain't got much else to say. You got anything else you got to say?
No, I'm good. I think we covered it.
All right, cool. Hey, I'm your boy Canteen. Today's Monday. We'll see y'all Friday, man. This is my man Beans.
Y'all have a good week.
It's Social Norm. We out this thing.
That's got to be racist.